Welcome back. It is Saturday, April 8th in the MLB. Our four favorite picks are on the way. I'm Austin, joined by Logan, but today we're joined by a special guest, the Brooms. Get it out, Logan. A 4-0 sweep. We will take that. An electric day. We had Mariners money line, a little plus value underdog. We'll take that. Mountcastle gets over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. The no run for Stinny Cash is on stream. It was electric. And then to cap off the night, Mike Trout sends one to the moon. First pitch swinging, sends it into the bleachers. A great day, 4-0 all around. Let's keep it going today. We got another 4 picks coming your guys' way. Subscribe if you guys are new. Today's video sponsored by No House Advantage. Look, they have a free square for UFC Saturday. I'll take advantage of that in a little bit so you'll be able to see how I'm using it, but it's for Israel Adesanya to just get one significant strike. Look, I don't bet UFC, but his regular line's 87.5. It's a free square. Sign up for NHA, No House Advantage using code COS for a 100% deposit match. Top link in the description. Again, I'll talk about that in a little bit after Logan's first pick of the day, which is going to be
Reds versus Phillies, and I'm taking the over 7.5 total runs in this one. Now, that's minus 120 odds on Bet365 is your best value there. You can play this at 8. You know, I don't mind it at there, but I feel it comes down to 7.5 by the first pitch. And it just depends on line movement, right? We've seen baseball over-unders, fluctuate all the time. Usually that half point, and the public, for what it's worth, is on the under in this one. So maybe you do see it tick down on your book, but I'm going to go ahead and take the 7.5. I do like not having the push in this one. Fun fact, though. Let's start. I'll be at this game, right? And that's not why I'm betting this, though. I'm not one of those people that's like, I have to bet something when I go to the game. I can enjoy the game, believe it or not, without betting it, but I will be at this game, and I liked it before I even knew I was getting tickets for this game. But let's look at the starting pitchers for this one, right? Got Bailey Falter starting, for the Phillies. He looked good in his first start. 5 1/3 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, but right, we can't just look at earned runs, right? That's the most deceiving stat in baseball. He gave up 7 hits. He's fortunate the Rangers didn't do more damage in that start. I was watching that game and I was like, Bailey Falter, I watched that guy pitch. I live in Philadelphia. He's not that good. All right. In 2022, Bailey Falter struggled at home. 5.49 ERA and a 1.35 whip at home. So he wasn't all that comfortable in, what's supposed to be his more comfortable setting. And against the lefties, the Reds, which Bailey Falter's a lefty, the Reds are 18th in batting average, hitting 250, and 9th best in OPS, hitting 815 OPS. So the Reds have been bringing the bats this year. They're one of those deceiving teams. They don't look great on paper, but I do think they can hit and get some runs up on Bailey Falter. Now, who's starting for the Reds? Nick Lodolo, right? He's got a few L's in his name. That's what he's going to toss out today. In his first start, 5 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 1.8 whip, right? That whip is way too high for only 2 earned runs allowed. And like Falter, Lodolo gave up 7 hits in his first start. Again, the damage could have been a lot greater. Last season, Lodolo, 5.11 ERA on the road, 1.27 whip. So again, these two pitchers had over 5 ERAs in their respective settings. And today, I think it could be an over masterclass, hopefully. Lodolo gave up 6 home runs and 7 starts on the road. He's one of those pitchers, when he's missing locations, it ends up in the seats. Yesterday, the Phillies hit 294 and had a 927 OPS. Yesterday, the Phillies were one of those teams that hit a lot better at home at Citizens Bank Park, and I expect them to do so today. And there should be a lot of run opportunities late in this game. Look, guys, these are 2 bad bullpens on the year so far. Phillies 29th in bullpen ERA, Reds 26th in bullpen ERA. So even if these 2 starting pitchers don't give up their fair share of earned runs, the bullpen's always liable for run opportunities. So I'm hammering the over in this one. But Austin, what do you got for us?
Hey man, the player props have been hot, so I'm going to run it back with another one. But I do want to put a note in here. We talked about this on the live stream yesterday. Since Logan's going to the game, he's going to post the same game parlay. So if you want to tail some degenerate thing he cooks up, he'll post it on our Twitter or on his Twitter. You can check that out. I'll put his Twitter at the top link in the pinned comment. So just go scroll down to the comment section. See pinned comment, will say Logan's Twitter. Go there. He'll post the same game parlay sometime right before for first pitch. But as for today, I'm going to go with this guy. It's going to be the guy on the thumbnail, guy in the latest game on the slate, Shohei Otani. I like his over 1.5 bases, currently plus 110 on DraftKings. Now, I didn't think we would honestly move these base lines as much as we have. Now, we've been moving NBA lines like crazy. We move all these base lines. I give out a plus 110, and then by the time the video is live, by the time the All-Stars have bet it, It's like at minus 115, minus 120. Now, for him, I played the minus 120. FanDuel, yet again, at minus 145. That's just a little bit criminal for me. I would not play any base prop at that. Now, if you need a FanDuel pivot, I think Otani, Trout, and Bichette to get a hit. It's like plus 129. I think that's reasonable if you want to maybe ride something with Otani in there. But let's talk about him because Otani's obviously really, really good. Now, yesterday we backed Mike Trout. He came out, sent a baseball to the moon, 441 feet. And Otani, hopefully he can do the same thing for us. Now, if you look at Otani to hit a home run, it's plus 430 on Caesars. Now, FanDuel, do not bet that there. It's plus 220. Maybe FanDuel has insider info putting the guy's home run value at just plus 220. But he hasn't hit a home run in 3 straight, so one could say he's due. But Otani's still batting 320 on the year. His last 6 games, all in April, he's had 2, 4, 4, 0, 1, and 3 bases, so over in 4 of 6, including going over yesterday with 2 hits. And look, the reason we're really here is Otani has great splits versus the Toronto Blue Jays starting pitcher, and Logan and I know him very well. It's Jose Barrios. Now, Barrios is not great. Let's be honest. He's not too great. And Otani has a great history against him. He has 17 plate appearances, a 429 batting average, 6 hits, 3 doubles, 3 homers. So he hasn't had a single against Barrios. They've all been extra base hits, which is what we like to see. 3 walks. So you could be concerned a little bit about walks here, but Barrios has a 6 walk percentage last year, and the MLB average is 8.4%. Very similar to Chris Bassett that we talked about yesterday. Not normally a guy that walks people. Now, Barrios can come out here and just start walking everyone, walking in runs. He's capable of doing that. Sure, we've seen it before, but I don't necessarily think he walks Otani here. And even if Otani does get walked once or twice, I still think he's capable of getting it done. And as we've talked about time and time again, let's talk about the pitches that Barrios is going to throw. Now, he's one of the only pitchers I've really seen on Baseball Savant that throws a slurve, which is a slider curve, but he throws at 40.4% of the time. The other times, he's throwing a 26% of four-seam fastball and a 24% sinker. So that's basically 90% of the pitches that he's throwing. And here's how Otani's done against those splits. Now, he's batting 1. He has a 100 batting average. 1.0 batting average versus the slurve last year. He only had 2 plate appearances, so you can't really look into that too hard. But if you were to break down, a slider and a curveball, he hit 242 versus the slider. 346 was his best pitch to hit yet last year against the curveball. He also hit 310 against the four-seam fastball, 281 versus the sinker. So you can see all these different great splits for him. If he wants to throw it, I don't think he can keep up the 1.0 batting average versus slurve, but if he wants to, I'm all for it today. Now, we look at Otani. His worst pitch to hit is a changeup. Barrios really doesn't throw that all too much. It throws it like 5-10% of the time. And Otani, a lefty. And look, that's important because Barrios has really struggled versus lefties. Last season, he gave up 29 home runs. 20 of them came to left-handed batters, and he allowed a 298 batting average to lefties. So, hey, look, all of these things combined, he allowed a 303 batting average in general on the road. 18 of the 29 home runs he gave up were on the road. Otani has a 314 batting average at home. He had 21 of his 34 homers at home. You can see all these things are combining into one thing, and it's Otani sending it to the moon. And while we're not banking on him to get a home run today, that would count as 4 bases. All we need is 2. Certainly think he can get that done. He's obviously one of the best hitters and pitchers in the MLB. And the over-under's at 9. They're expecting some runs. I think Otani produces some runs today. We'll take his over. 1.5 bases at plus 110. Now, like I talked about at the top of the show, I have a no house advantage entry, and it's going to be right here on the screen. Like I talked about, they have a free square live until UFC starts later on tonight, on Saturday night. And here's how I'm using it. Adesanya, the free square, more than 0.5 significant strikes. He'll do that. And then I took a couple hits, runs, and RBIs props. Going to be experimenting a little bit more with these, but Rafael Devers, Randy Arozarena, Wander Franco, all more than 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. I like all of them. There were some strong leans I had, but I'm only going to be riding with Shohei, but I like these other guys as potential. So that's $10 to 110. I'll take a stab at it. If you want to sign up for NHA, use code COS for 100% deposit match up to $100, or you can click that top link in the description. But either way, Logan, you got another play for the people. What you got?
Yeah, we're going to a team total for my second pick, and we're going to the Cardinals versus Brewers game, and I'm taking the Cardinals team total over 4.5 total runs versus the Brewers, minus 105 on BetMGM's your best value. Now, this is a break the trend pick. What do I mean by that? Cardinals have gone under this line in 4 straight, including a shutout yesterday. Whenever I'm checking these team totals and checking the first 5 lines, I always like to see if anything sticks out to me. And this one did stick out to me. I'm like, 4.5. That's pretty, wild for this Cardinals team. They've been in a slump offensively recently, but today they face Eric Lauer. I think this is a get-right game for the Redbirds. In his first start, Lauer had a decent showing, but the Cardinals had his number last year. If you look at how Lauer fared versus the Cardinals, not great at all. Lauer, 5.29 ERA, 1.29 WHIP versus St. Louis last year. Lauer also gave up 4 home runs in 3 games to St. Louis in 2022. So the long ball was not his friend. And against Lauer, some of these Cardinals hitters have great splits, right? Arenado hitting 300 with 2 home runs. Paul Goldschmidt, these heavy hitters, 214 with 2 home runs, and even Carlson, if he's in the lineup today, he's hitting 500. So some of these Cardinals hitters have seen Lauer before, and they've absolutely, done some significant damage versus him. Lauer's worst start last year too, of the 3 starts against St. Louis, came at home where he gave up 5 earned runs and 2 home runs. We know at that Brewers ballpark, definitely liable for some home runs. That's why we try not to pick nerfies there, because the solo bomb is definitely an inevitable fact there. And despite the shutout yesterday, St. Louis 7th best in OPS, 812, and 1st in batting average, hitting 305 on the year. So this St. Louis offense, they're facing a lefty today, and last year they hit lefties well. This year they're hitting lefties well too. St. Louis 3rd best in batting average, hitting 324 versus lefties. So, guys, there should be a lot of hits and run opportunities against Eric Lauer today. Expect the Cardinals to do some damage against him and get us to 5 runs. That's not a low team total over-under. I think they set it high for a reason. I think they're telling us this is a bounce-back offensive performance for the Redbirds, so I'm going to go ahead and take a shot at their team total. But, Austin, get your flag out. You know what time it is.
Yeah, you know what time it is. The new flags brought great vibes yesterday. The live stream was electric. Well, we won't have a live stream today, unfortunately. Those will probably return on Monday. Hey, what can we do is just cash out another one and get this streak going. Now, today, there aren't a lot of good options, but I'm wearing the shirt. Where will we going? We're going to Chicago, and we're going to the Rangers and Cubs game, and we're taking the no-run first inning there. Currently minus 125 on Caesars. Now, for some reason, FanDuel didn't have lines for the first inning run, so if you want to check them, see what their odds are, maybe take it there, but minus 125 was the best on Caesars. Now, let's talk about who's going to kick off the inning, and it's going to be our man, Justin Steele. Now, he had a very, very good start in his first start, and he was 1-0 on the season to no-run first innings. He was very good last year as well, and he pitched a gem in his first start at Wrigley Field. 6 innings pitched, only 3 hits, 0 earned runs. I think he struck out a lot of guys too. Now, Texas has some annoying bats at the top of their order. They're still 13th in first inning runs, so more or less pretty average, and we have seen this over-under kind of sitting around at 7.5. So it looks like the wind's going to be blowing in, which is what you want in Wrigley Field. Logan can touch on that a little bit, but I think Justin Steele, very capable of getting us 3 outs. He does sometimes like to walk guys, but yesterday these two teams didn't score until the 4th inning. So hopefully they can get another duplication of that. We get the first 3 outs. Who's on the other side?
Take us home, Martin Perez. He was an ally of Nerfy Nation last year. Austin, I don't know how many Perez Nerfies we took, but we took a lot of them because we knew we could count on him in the first inning. He's 1-0 on Nerfies this year, and I hope he shows another strong performance today for us. He had a solid first start, 5 2/3 innings pitched, 1 earned run against the Phillies, and they have a solid top half of the order. So he was able to Nerfy in that one. I think he's in line for a good start today. Chicago, 9th in first inning runs. Yes, they've got some decent power at the top 3 or 4 spots in their lineup. But as you mentioned, Austin, over under set to 7.5, even in that range. So when you always have to line read Wrigley Field over unders, in my opinion, right? You don't take an under when it's like 8.5 or 9 because they know the wind's blowing out and it's a home run derby. But when it's in that 7 range, you get a performance like yesterday where it was 2-0, right? So I do feel really solid about this one, Austin. And I think Nerfy Nation. Let's make it 2 in a row. Who says no?
Hey, why not? Let's get on a hot streak real quick. We are due some winners there. So those are our 4 favorite picks of the day. Riding with the Rangers, Cubs, no run first inning. The Cardinals, team total over 4.5. We have that no house advantage entry. You can sign up using our code down below, top link in the description. Going Otani's over in bases, the guy on the thumbnail. And then, of course, Reds and Phillies. Logan will be at the game, taking the over, 7.5 runs, rooting for some fireworks there. We'll have a same game parlay posted, pinned comment. You can check his Twitter out. Go follow him there. Show him some love. Let's have a great Saturday. Let's bring out this bad boy once again and go 4-0. You guys have a great Saturday. We'll see you guys back again. Same time, same place tomorrow morning. See you guys then. Peace out.